Howdy. You know, I already did this bit last video. What am I doing? Just every time I say it's going to take a while, it ends up taking even longer than I was expecting. I gotta stop using that bit because I'm just doing myself. Anyway. I promised that I would do at least one of these. So, oops. That's something else. I was working on like a music player sort of thing. It's not working extremely well, but it's working. To the best of its ability. Anyway. Item of today is a continuation of the boss data pack, weirdly enough. Because I already got 10 bosses under the belt, so you might wonder what's even left. Well, I promised myself that I would make a certain boss before I was done doing this, and I still hadn't made it by the end of that sort of saga. So before I call it quits for good, I may as well make this last one. And, well, of course, make a video about it so that I have a ledger of all the stuff that I've worked on. Now, the boss in question is actually a normal boss. This is the first video in a very long time that is not an insane boss, and you just need Phantom Memories to summon it. And anyone who's tasted beets can probably guess what the element of this boss is. It's the taste of iron, that Ferrous taste. Now, I'm trying to think what I even need for this. I think I would want... Do I even need diamond? I forget how tough. I don't think this boss is too terribly tough, so I might just go diamond. But I will... That is... Sweeping 3. The first time I've ever genuinely wanted Sweeping Edge on a sword. You might wonder why. Well... This is a worm boss. Think the Eater of Worlds, or something the Devourer of God, something very similar to that. Without further ado, oops. Let's get this rolling. Oh god, I need carrots. Hang on, pardon me, Mr. Serpent, I'll be with you in a second. So this boss is the Ferrous Serpent. Now, anyone who's interested in chemistry will know that this is a reference. There's a rather famous lead-based reaction called the Ferrous Serpent. But this is just spelled like ferrous, like iron. This is my inner nerd coming out in full force. Anyway, this is a worm boss, and what it'll do is, whenever you're within 32 blocks, it'll jump straight towards you. And it can damage you, of course, and if it touches you, you get a whole mess of status effects. So, that's not advisable. I would prefer not to get heavy metal poisoning. Ow. And in the second phase, it gets smaller. Seems like a downgrade, but he moves faster, and he also has less surface area for you to hit. So... There's kind of like a carousel dance that you do with this boss. Uh-oh. No, okay. This is the sketchy part. He will now explode whenever he leaves the ground. So I'm going to keep getting peppered by half hearts of damage. I'm barely outside the radius. Don't knock me into the fire, please. This would be way easier with a ranged weapon, but I am not... I should have planned for this a little bit better. Uh-oh. Another classic thing to note, a classic of these sort of like, when a player is hurt nearby, because it uses poison, if you're stuck near this boss, you will continually get the status effects until you walk away, which can be very dangerous. Oh, why even bother? I can just stay in survival, for the time being at least. Because I think this is the last time I'm going to use this world. After this, I'll probably make a new one, because this is... Love this world, but it's seen some... And there are a lot of data packs here that I just do not use. So my options are either to cleanse it or just to start anew, and I feel like I just want to leave this here and start something new. Excuse me. In any case, the rewards. The Crown of the Ancient Mariner is sort of similar to that one shield that Ryan drops. While you're in water, you get resistance 2 and regeneration 2. And I can't really help the flickering. That's just sort of like a Minecraft thing. It's annoying, but I can't really do much about that. Either way, these next two items are a bit more interesting. The Quicksilver Blade, I'll go ahead and grab some creepers for that. Whenever you hit a mob, you will gain a ridiculously high speed boost for a very short time. And it doesn't work upon lethal blows, so keep that in mind. Well, the last one is the interesting one. This is the Ferrous Curse. Imbues with the screams of 1,000 locusts. This is a really cool weapon, but there's a deceptively large amount of work that went into this one. So what it does, I'll just keep those creepers in there for a moment. It's a normal arrow. And it lays down that sort of web. And if you're within it, you take a lot of damage. Let me do this so I have to get an arrow. That does 12 damage, or 12 hearts of damage, so that will insta-kill you if you're within the radius. However, the other side of the coin is that it also insta-kills basically anything that isn't including you. So it can be very helpful. It's especially useful for the boss itself, but it's kind of hard to time it. So I wouldn't rely on it too much. The Chain Lightning Bow, though, is way, way better for this boss. Because you can basically just aim at the ground as you're running away from it, and it'll arc up to the boss as it's traveling towards you. Not quite as useful in the second phase, but I suppose that goes for this thing too. But now, I may as well talk a bit about how the boss actually works. Because this is the most technical boss that I've made, barring the second version of Rind. So there's a lot of interesting questions of what the hell I actually did to make this boss work. Well, the first thing to note, it's still far enough away, he's still going to jump at me. So I may as well just hop into spectator mode, so it's easier to see what's going on. Notice those dirt particles. They're only there as long as there are magma cubes around. But as soon as the magma cubes all disappear, its position switches to wherever they were. This notes? Why is it lagging? Oh, it doesn't. What? It really doesn't like me going into spectator. I'm not sure why. We have to tweak that. Anyway. This is the position that marks where they spawn from. And I can't rightly show it, because the marker, even when you go into spectator mode, markers are invisible. But there's a marker every time at my position. And then when the snake spawns, every single one of them gets the motion to travel to that point, one by one. Something else to note about the boss, too, beyond that, is the fact that they're all magma cubes. But you might notice they're a little, the end behavior is a bit strange for magma cubes. They're actually riding armor stands to make them a little bit more stable. Because if they were just magma cubes, that might cause some problems. And I tried fiddling with it, but I feel like this is the best solution, even if they do end up hovering a little bit. Because if I were to make them too close to the ground, even if they weren't riding anything, the issue is that then they would get that red tint from taking damage, and I don't think there's a way to remove that. In any case, whenever the timer is up, I have to run through a scoreboard that's constantly ticking down, and every time it ticks, it spawns one of these magma cubes. So it'll spawn, I think, exactly 20 of these magma cubes. It's quite cool. This is definitely one of my favorites, just on a technical level. And I suppose it will be my favorite, because this is the last boss I'll be doing. I was debating doing the other two, but they didn't offer enough. It makes me sound like a businessman, but they just didn't offer enough in terms of creativity. They were kind of just like rehashes of the other bosses, with little tiny changes. So I'm not gonna sweat it too much. Maybe sometime, God knows when, I'll revisit this pack and actually do those final two. But today is not the time. I really want to take a break from this pack anyhow. Come on, get up here. Oh. This boss really does not like these. Oh. But sometimes that happens. Come on, do it again. It's like at the edge of blocks, it does not like it sometimes. There we go. Either way, that's about all I got. And thank you, little guy. Little what? At E equals marker. That should go to boss. Perfect. That being said, that's about all I got, so... A bit of a shorter one, yeah, but... Yeah, there's not a whole lot I can really talk about here. Ferrous Curse is pretty simple. These two are just like easy stat boosts. Or status effects, I should say. Not a lot to talk about besides the worm itself. In any case... Thanks so much for watching, guys. It's been a fun journey, and hopefully the stuff I come up with next is a bit less long-winded, because I'm kind of sick at this project. But, whatever. I had fun with it. And hopefully you did too. Either way, thanks so much for watching, y'all. Have a good day.